Welcome to Project Eden for Empyrion Galactic Survival. We're starting on the bridge of my capital vessel. And in this part, I'd like to do two things. Well, first thing is we need to get back to the central star in this system so that we can pick up the other CV. And what I want to do is show you that two ways that you can do this and talk a little bit about the pros and cons. And then once we get back to the central star where our other CV is, that's where I want to possibly do a little bit of work to improve the docking, because if you watch the video, which I probably made about 10 parts left on further, I had a bit of a problem with the docking, so I think it's time to start rebuilding my spaceborne CV so that it can act more as a carrier ship rather than as actually as an operational on the surface CV. And then going forward, what I'd like to do then is possibly start exploring planets so that we can find some dead logs and possibly complete the mission on the right hand side there. But before that, I'd just like to give you an update for anyone who watched the previous video where I was doing a Deconstructor base in order to refine some magmasite. And you can see I've got 135 ingots of magmasite. And if I come into, I think it's Constructor out, you see I've still got 164 magmasite ore. And one tip I will give you guys is refining magmasite is a very slow process. I think, in fact, I think I actually got a comment suggesting that I should sleep. Well, but what I actually did after the video ended is I brought the avatar back inside the CV, topped up all the oxygen. I filled up the Deconstructor base with maximum amount of fuel, went and had lunch, and then I think I sat there reading a book for about an hour, checking every so often to make sure there was enough fuel. And that is 135 tons of magmasite ingots, is probably my entire output for that period. So refining magmasite is a very slow grind. On the opposite side with the Deconstructor, the results were quite interesting. Now, somehow I managed to get some magnetic plates from the deconstruction process as well. And just to give you show you what I've done is, you can see this is all I've got left. I kept a few bits and pieces, and of course you can't deconstruct the night vision goggles. What I did say in that video is that you can't deconstruct upgrade kits. It seems that you can, so that's something that's worth remembering. And I've also got a little bit left over here, you can see. And the other thing you can't deconstruct is flamethrowers. I think that's because of the fact that you can't build them. So if you can't build them, you can't deconstruct them because the game doesn't know what to deconstruct them into. So if you put these in the deconstructor, the game just ignores them. But you can see I've kind of reduced down to enough weapons that we might be able to trade. And I think probably the best way to deconstruct or refine magmasite is to actually set up a proper base with solar panels so that you can go off and explore a planet and then come back from time to time to see how well the furnace and the deconstructor is going. That out the way, the first thing we got to do is just jump into the ship here, turn the thrusters on, we're going to put the shields on. Actually, need to just get up into space. So here we are, we're up in space. Now, what I want to talk about is something that I've actually had a couple of comments over time about the fact that people said they weren't been able to walk to the central star system, because if you come in here and click on here and then click on there, it say lock target, but if you click on it, you can't lock target. So the way to, if you're within a system, to get back to the central sun is to fly towards it until it picks up and highlights like that. And this also applies to other planets you can see from the system, the planets that you're in. So if you want to get to, say, another planet in the system, you can use exactly the same technique, because once it highlights up like that, it says it's in warp. So what we can do then is just warp like that. So here we are, we're back in the central sun. Now, I made a bit of a mistake when I left my CV here in the fact that I didn't tag it. Now, one of the problems you get when you return to the central sun with respect to trying to find your CV, because it won't show up on the map, because it's probably out of range because the scanner's only 24 kilometers. So my CV is probably here somewhere. In fact, I think it's above the planet. Let's just see if we turn off the... Let's do a little bit of a quick search. And you can see we've got a space satellite over there. It's going to take, it would take me a very long time, I think, to find the CV. As I say, what I really should have done is tagged it so that I would know exactly where it was and I could fly to it. So there is another way you can actually get to the CV quite quickly, and that is if we come into here, go to the galactic map. We need what we got here. We got column mine. How far away are you? 21. You're an M class planet, so if you lock that on there, it's 21 light years away. If we can find the planet. I know it's going to consume pentaxid, so you've got to make sure you've got plenty of pentaxid for this. But then if you're warping, you should always make sure you've got plenty anyway. So if you go to another system, while we're here, we'll just take a quick look at what this system's got. I can't remember what we got. I mean, if there's a potential for a dead planet here, it says it's undiscovered. You get planetary information. Doesn't really give you that much information, does it? Looking at this, there's medium space around a cold star. This could be worth exploring, actually. Sector says atmospheric density undiscovered. Class orbit we got out there. Mining bandits, pirates, aliens, civilians. Well, actually, that might be. We've actually got. This is the supine sector. This has got water in it. I do need some asteroids. What we got over here? This has got. I mean, it could be quite useful to come here and mine some water asteroids. In fact, I think we might come back that way, but of course that's not what we're meant to be doing at the moment. So we go back to here, and then okay, and then if we come to here, we click back onto this system. So we got to get effectively we got to walk back the opposite way. And as I say, I know it's expensive in pentaxid, but there's not much we can do. I think we will come back here and explore this system. And then what you do is you walk back in again. What should happen is if you come out here, communications, satellites. I still can't find my ship. Oh, this is not fair. Okay. Okay, let me just try something else. We're gonna go to this system, lock this target. Build up speed. I'm going through quite a lot of pentaxid to this. And we're in this system. Let's take a quick look at what we got here. Map markers. What we got here. Got some water on this in the Olnagan system. Could be worth doing. Mining bandits. Okay. And we'll just lock the target and we'll travel back the other way. Hopefully I might find my capital vessel. Otherwise I'm just going to burn a lot of pentaxid to do nothing. We're up. Obviously if you come in from different directions you can find your capital vessel. So that's probably a good tip. But we've now got the capital vessel in sight. And on the bright side, we've managed to check out 2 systems. I think we'll probably go to the first one of the 2. And what I'm going to do now is we're just going to cruise towards the capital vessel. We are just turn the drive on, and if we can orientate to the ship. What we need to do now is kind of go above it. What I'm going to try and do is see if I can do a quick docking, but it's not easy. And if it takes too much, I'll do the ship rebuilding here. Because what we got to do is kind of fly above like that, drop down. It's docking capital vessels is quite interesting. If I can get the angle's probably a little bit too steep, and we're not far enough forward yet. Kind of inch forward a little bit. Need to level off a bit more. No, still too steep. I need the section with the thrusters. Inch forward a little bit. I can't dock anyway. Okay, I've just realized you can't dock, and if you've got an SV, so we need to take off the SV first. I really wish Elion would allow compound docking. We need to detach you just to keep it simple. Dock you. Put you about there. Just want to check. I think the landing gear is just each side of this. Let me just turn the light on a bit. Yeah, so we need to move back a little bit so that these 2 thrusters are over this very narrow overhang here. So we're just going to give it another go. If not, we'll be doing the rebuilding here, because I do want to rebuild the ship a little bit, and of course we need to get in this entrance hatch, and it's easier just to fly in. In the game, we'll just no, don't think we're in position yet. See if we can maneuver. Yeah, slightly off center. We do it that way. Just because we're looking at the ship, we got to use the opposite keys. A little bit. Right. It says we've docked. Now, that is a surprise. Power off. Not power off. Sorry. Thrusters off. I might have just killed all my plants. Oh, we got away with it. Oops. I love messing around in gravity. Of course, we better dock the SV. I'm kind of half thinking that we might be able to move to another system and do the build there. Just tilt you And the thrusters off. Of course, the cold of space has killed all my plants. We've got no gravity because we've got no power. So turn the power on here. Now, let's have a look. We've got plenty of fuel. Thrusters are on. I don't think it tells you whether you've got ships docked to you. Well, we're going to give it a go. If things go badly wrong, then, well, that's the way it is. Right, which planet are we going to get, or new system we're going to go to? I think we'll go back to, actually, what we got here. That's what we got here. This is 25.8. This is a G-type planet. Maybe we'll go there. No. Unlock. We're going to go here because I think I need to get some water, and the easiest way to get water is to mine asteroids. So we're going to jump in there. First person. Where is the target? We can't see anything because we've got the quick look. Yep. So we are maneuvering with the ship just to make sure. And we're going to get here and build up speed. And then we're warp out. And we are in this system. And the thrusters off. I probably won't replant this area here. We're gonna separate the two ships because the next thing I'd like to do is somehow get the hover tank out of here. So apologies that this video is going to be all about docking, undocking, maneuvering capital vessels and other silly things, but let's get into here. And I have an idea. Put the thrusters on. Get away from this ship. Where's the capital vessel? Okay. Oh, now we're going to do a little bit of odd maneuvering. Let me just drop down. Get underneath the ship. This could be even more embarrassing. In fact, two ships aren't really level. We need to get right here. Now, just to try and explain what I'm trying to do is, let me just do it this way. What I'm trying to do is get the scars upper landing deck underneath the entrance for the what we call it, the capital vessel. I should really give it a name, really, shouldn't I? That in the right position. We're just gonna have to have a look. It should be possible. We're going to give it a go. If I lose the hover tank, that's all there is to it. think you're going to get in the way, aren't you? So see if we can turn the power on. We can move you there. There's got to be an easier way to do this. Thrusters on. Oh, we've got power on actually, sorry. Now. Now all we got to do is get this to dock with well, it worked. It worked a lot better than I thought it was going to be. sorry for laughing, guys, but I had visions of my hover tank kind of fading off away into space there. And so we've got the hover tank there. If we get the Scar Raider away from the ship now, and hopefully the hover tank will go with us. Because we can't put it inside the hangar deck. Thrusters off. Let's move you away. And we're kind of park alongside each other like that for the moment. Turn the thrusters off. Go this way. Where's the... Not that far away from it, am I? There's the... Right, we're going to jump in the CV. And what I want to do is make sure this one is level. So back into here. Just back on. Exterior view. Move you away. Press O so that you're 100% level. So that when we return or when I build, we'll have an orientation. Now the next thing I'm going to do is pick up the SV. Actually, we're going to turn the power off. We'll turn all the power off for the moment. Yeah, I know the oxygen will be removed. Oops. Thrusters back on. And of course, what we're going to have to do now is put got the tank, hover tank on the top. So we're going to have to put the SV inside of the hangar. Now the theory is that when we get to a planet, I should be able to drive the hover tank off the top of the ship. And then what that will mean is it will then drop down to the planet's surface, and then I will be able to put the hover tank in the hangar. Oh, well, that's the theory anyway. So we've now got our ship set up, ready to go. Now, of course, there's, if I stand in between the two ships now, I want to check the supplies. So if we have the capital vessel on here, we got quite a lot of water, which I probably wouldn't mind passing some of that onto there. We also probably need to refine out some pentaxics. I can imagine what the pentaxic situation is now. I'm not sure where, I can't even remember where I stored the, I think it's general supplies. We've got quite a lot of power cells in here, so actually, what's the power? Actually, I'm going to do this off camera, guys. And I think rather than start something completely new, I'll just talk a little bit about what I want to do with this capital vessel. The first thing we're going to do is take off the ramps off the back, because this ship's never going to land on a planet again. It's effectively going to be an orbital platform. And what I'm thinking is that I like these thrusters here, but what I would like to do is extend the ship back and then put side hangar doors on the ship here, coming out, say, like this, and maybe recess them and then make it a bit wider, so we're gonna have like hangar doors coming out, so there's side access. And the idea is that I'm going to build a hangar deck on here, so we'll probably bring the main cockpit back this way, and then inside that we'll be able to store the hover tank, and then we'll extend this landing pad back further. In fact, I'll probably bring this up a little bit, so this is a double layer of blocks, I think, just to make this area a little bit tougher. Yeah, I think that might work. And then the idea is that the Scar Raider can come down, land on the top of the ship, the doors can come down, and the hover tank can come out the hangar and actually be loaded directly into the Scar Raider. Also, with a larger docking area, the Scar Raider will be able to dock properly rather than the fiddling around that I've actually just done. So that's probably what I want to do. But I'm probably going to need to think a little bit more about the design before I actually do it. Maybe in the next part we'll do a little bit of work on it. Let's say what I wouldn't mind is side entry hangars. Actually, what we could do, let me just look at something. Have a look at the nose of the Scar Raider. Jeff Randall's kind of put this thing on the front here. And what we could do is change the front of the Scar Raider. Put a, yeah, what we could do is put a landing pad there. Well, that could be a different approach. Yeah, change of plans. What I'll probably do is rebuild this, move these thrusters out one more tier. We'll extend this back and put side hangers on for the SV, and then we'll probably keep this nice and open from the perspective of being able to land on here. And we'll put a hangar for the hover tank on top. Extend this back further over the top of the hangar here, and then we'll put a notch in the front of the the ship. So we'll put a V shape here, so that the Scar Raider can then slide in and dock to the actual back of the ship rather than perching on this back section here. That may work, but I probably need to think a bit more detail from that perspective. But I think this is where I'm going to leave it. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you found it interesting. Any suggestions, opinions on the ship rebuild, feel free to chuck it in the comments. But until next time, whatever you do, enjoy your gaming.